My mother had 3 kids, and I was the oldest. So I decided to shine shoes on the corner. Around about that time, my mother was buying clothes from Tallhammers and other places like that. And she would ask me to go down there to pay the bill at Tallhammers. We couldn't stay, we couldn't sit there, we couldn't do anything but just buy clothes. So I would go in and I'd pay the bill. And there was these guys with, clean white shirts on and a tie. And I said, I wish I could be that. The problem was, there was no hope, no chance for that to happen to me. We had no money. As far as we could go would graduate from high school and then work the rest of your life. But I had that dream. I don't know why, but I guess God gave it to me. So I graduated in 1954, and I went into the military. I was there for about 4 years. My only reason for getting out was I wanted to go to college. Someone told me in school that accounting was the most difficult subject that you could ever have. And you would be crazy to try that. I said, you don't tell me that I can't do this. I don't know how long it took me, but nevertheless, I graduated in accounting in 1970. The last year that I was there, they sent a group of businesses to school to interview you for a job. One of the CPA firms came to me and said, you have all of the grades and the type of guy that we would want on our payroll. But I can't allow you to go into any of my businesses because if you did, we would lose that business. What tore me up was I had worked so hard to get that education so long. And my only handicap was there something I couldn't change. I couldn't change it. Nevertheless, when I graduated, one of my friends had a job waiting for me. It was at a place called Metropolitan Business League. It was a federally funded organization. My dream hadn't changed. The job at the Metropolitan Business League was one where you wear a suit all the time. You wear a tie and shirt. But it was all a minority organization. So that wasn't the dream. That still hadn't reached my dream. And at that time, all of the automobile companies, the major companies, all of them were putting out contracts to minority individuals who could own a new car dealership. So I applied to Ford Motor Company for this dealership. So anyway, I continued working at the Metropolitan Business League, and I didn't hear anything from my resumes that I had submitted. But one day I'm in church, and I heard this pastor said, if you want something from God, you go home and you go into your closet and close the door and get on your knees and ask God for it. I had never heard that in my life. So I go home and we didn't have a closet that you could go into, so I went into my bathroom, closed the door, cut on the fan in there because I didn't want my wife to hear me talking out loud thinking I'm crazy or something. So I just closed the door and got on my knees, and this is what I prayed. I said, God, I want you to give me the job at the Small Business Administration and the new car dealership. Give me both of them at the same time. Let me choose which one I want. Today I know that's crazy. You don't pray that kind of prayer to God, but I prayed it. So I'm still working at the Metropolitan Business League, and all of a sudden one day they called me down at the Business Administration telling me that if I wanted that job, come down there right away and I'd be sworn in for that job. Went back to Metropolitan Business League, got off that evening, went home. And there was a letter from Ford Motor Company saying to me, if you want this dealership, contact the person at the bottom of that page. Suddenly I knew there was a God. He was the only one I told. He had answered my prayer just like I had prayed. I was awestruck. Then I thought about the two. I said, you know, I got a choice here. I needed some wisdom to make a decision about what I'm gonna do for my future. I heard of somebody when I was in college called Solomon. He was the wisest man that ever lived. I said, maybe I need to know what he knows. I decided I'm gonna get me a Bible and I'm gonna read it. But I had a Bible at home, but it was King James Version. I couldn't read that Bible. I couldn't read it. One day I saw an ad in the paper saying they had a living Bible that you could buy and read. So I bought that book. And I purposed in my mind that I was going to read that book from front to cover. Took me, I guess, about 6 months. One day I'm at work, my coworker says, you talk different. You sound like a preacher. And I knew then that book was different. Had life in it. It make you think different, make you walk different, make you act differently. Wasn't like all the other books that I had read. No other book I had read, all these classic books in college and everything, none of them changed me. But that one did. Changed me. I thought about the two. I said, should I take the dealership where I can have free cars all the time, brand new cars? But I said, God gave me, he could have given me either one of them first. He could have given me anyone. So I said, well, since he gave me the job at the Small Business Administration first, that's what I will take. I suddenly realized that what he was doing was changing my character. He wanted me to know that I was his son and he was my father. He can send me anywhere he wants to send me. He can do whatever he wants to do with me because he's my father and he owns the whole world and everything in it. And that's what he wanted me to know. It wasn't about changing anyone else but me. My dream came true. See, at the Small Business Administration, I was just one out of maybe 2 chocolate-colored people in that job. I had to wear a suit all the time, tie. I had to wear it all the time. Carry a briefcase with me. I traveled, helping people. I counseled businesses. My dream came true. I'm Tommy Christmas, and I grew up segregated.